Okay. Got folks joining us. Welcome to V-GovCon Live with Varetta Huggins, and I'm so glad that you all can be here today. And can you believe we're in August already? Wow. Feels like time is just flying by. It was just January and now we're already in August. You got kids in school. I hope they're about to get in school or they're already in school. And there goes our summer, right? And we're heading into fall, and before you know it, we'll be talking about Christmas. But thanks everyone for joining us. And as usual, we're here to provide you small business owners with content that you can use for today. And got a great lineup for tonight in terms of things that we're going to be talking about. Can everyone see my screen? Haley? Am I sharing? Just want to verify. Yep, okay, all right. Okay, so first thing we wanted to talk about, just some new things that's happening and just giving you some news. So one of the things that we're going to be offering tonight is our CEO accounting package. So look out for that at the end. And that's mainly for small business owners who need help with accounting, especially for government contracting. We heard you. We listened and we've heard you. A lot of you are struggling in government contracting, where you're either struggling to get those technical proposals out, and it's mainly because you're looking for templates. Graham is going to cover tonight price proposal, and with that, we're going to be able to take what he's doing and start working on a price proposal template. So just letting you know that these are coming soon, and so be ready for those when we do have them. And then just letting you know in terms of some events that are upcoming. So I will be at the Small Business Expo in Phoenix, Arizona in September. So the ending of September, me and my team will be in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you are in Phoenix, look out for us. Sign up for the Small Business Expo. We'll have information on our website also. And so sign up for that. And we'll also have a workshop where I will be presenting information on how to become a government contractor and some useful tips that you can use in going after government contracts, getting your services and goods to government clients. So that information will be provided at the Small Business Expo in Phoenix, Arizona. All right, so welcome tonight. We've got, again, our price proposal expert, Graham Huggins. And last year we did a similar session with Graham, and I can tell you we had great feedback from our small business community, where this is something they always want to hear about. And so Graham will be talking about that tonight. He'll be showing you how to develop a price proposal. And this is information that he has been doing. He's been doing this for V-PMC. He's also been doing this for a lot of small business customers that he worked with across the DC Metro Virginia area. And some of our V-GovCon customers have been working with Graham throughout the years, and he's been the one helping them to meet their small business accounting needs, and also for price proposal support, IDIQ support. So he's been working with them, helping them with getting those prices in, understanding their prices. And in some cases, we had some customers that came to us and they were basically giving away their services, and Graham's been working with them for them to understand how to correctly price their goods and services. So I am so pumped to be able to have him as our speaker tonight. And so Graham, welcome. Anything you want to share with our audience?
But thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure to share with folks that, something you have learned, you've built over the years that would probably make their job easier. I know most of these people here spend a lot of time into their business and try to build it up. And some of them don't focus on some of the little things from the accounting standpoint that would, enable them to move forward. And sometimes that's where I come in. Sometimes for most people, not all, some people just general advice, but it's always good to help out.
Awesome. So tonight, I'm going to use a different style. Graham is going to walk through a price proposal that he's put together for you, our audience. And then, so I'm going to stop sharing now. Hold on, let me get this ready for him while I'm talking. So Graham, go ahead, start sharing while I'm talking. So with that, he's gonna show you a price proposal he's put together. And from there, he's gonna be able to walk you through some of the things that, if you're creating a price proposal, these are things that you wanna do. So Graham, the big thing, a lot of customers that are coming to us and some of the questions that they're asking us is, hey, I'm responding to a request for quote, which is RFQ. And in some cases, they're like, hey, I'm not really sure. All they did was give us one space to put a total figure, and they're not telling us how to come up with that figure. So how do we come up with a figure like that for a request for quote? So we want you to be able to walk them through what it means to be able to come up with that rate first, and then how they're using that rate based on if it's a 1 year base and let's say a 2-year option. How are they doing that to come up with that total figure that they need to put in that request for quote response?
Nice. I hope everybody able to see the screen. Let me try to enlarge it a little bit. Make sure that folks are able to see it. So, in putting together that proposal, normally you got 2 buckets of workers. You got your contractors, and you have employees that work on contract. So how do we derive these certain percentage? Normally, most employee or employer or body employer consultant, certain things you have to keep in mind. What are you going to pay that individual? So we can cover what's in column B here. We said direct labor. What are you going to pay them? What's the going market rate out there? And normally you have whatever the peak is and whatever the medium is, and the price is somewhere between there. So we always go for our ceiling rate. So your direct labor would be sort of your ceiling rate. So we got here project manager, business analyst, and technical writer. We're gonna start out here. We got $100 here. That's the direct labor. That's what it's gonna cost you. That's what you're gonna pay the individual per hour. And we're talking about individual here. We're talking about the employee or a W-2 worker. And it's gonna cost you, as you always say, okay, most of these people come with benefits. And benefits, we ask for benefits, meaning that, you got sick, time off, vacation, holiday, jury duty, all the holidays, including Juneteenth, that just been added. So you have all these necessary holidays that are included. Within the year, you have your 80 hours, and you pay probably $19.20 or now maybe $19 12 now with Juneteenth within the issue. So your direct labor cost that you pay the individual is $100, but it's going to cost you $130. Okay, you say, well, 30, but 30 is the benefit. The benefit right here, which is 30. The 30% here is all the benefits that's included inside here. And the calculation of the benefit is direct labor times the benefit percentage. If you're just in business, you probably have not built up your profit and loss as yet in terms of paying employees and what's not. So generally, I go through whatever an employee or employer pays to the individual. It's probably add up to be 30%, the cost of hiring the employee. Any questions here? Varetta?
No, but I'm glad you let them know it's about 30%. I will tell you folks that it's really a range. It depends on what it is your company's offering as benefits. So I've seen it as low as 23%. And it could come up to 30% again, as Graham said. Again, that varies. And a lot of time that's all the things that Graham just mentioned. It's all those different benefits that you're including. Also, if you're throwing in training for your employees, that also goes in there.
Yeah, so you make sure you're having everything inside there. You don't wait until the employee comes on to say, well, hey, this person might get this price, might not get this, but it's all in your overall calculation because your price is in the future, it's moving forward. So you said we calculate the benefit is your direct labor cost times your benefit and percentage. The second thing we have is overheads. And everybody here, what are overheads? Overheads are all the work you do over the contract. I mean, it might be self-explanatory. It's all the job, all the work you do over the head of the contract. I mean, is that, you might say, wow, that's simple. So in terms of, you know, some of the bids and some of the bids you do, you have to have a contract manager. You have all these different things that takes care of the contract. So those are your overheads. Well, overheads, the calculation for overheads is direct labor times your overhead percentage. The overhead percentage here, let me backtrack a bit. So if you have a 1099 worker, your 1099 worker can probably take up whatever your benefit is times your direct labor, because you don't pay any payroll taxes for those contractors, those 1099 folks. So, okay, going forward, your overhead within your profit and loss, you have all these overhead expenses, and they add up, and we get a percentage, which is about, here we're working with 16%, and it ranges and depends, as Varetta said, depends on the company, what all the overheads are. Everybody don't have the same thing, but I try to get the top end here of 16%. So the calculation is direct labor times 16%. And it's straight up is $100 using, say, $16. So we add all those across the board, get some total. We got labor, benefits, and overhead. Moving on to your G&A expenses. G&A expenses, everything that happened within your office that don't happen on the contract. And they got some people that be working on the contract, could be working in the office also, because we have an office inside the office. We're paying rent for them within the office. They have laptops. We got subscriptions to different softwares. Everything G&A. We pay property tax, we pay all the taxes and so on. All those things go on to G&A. You can say everything's not in overhead, is in G&A. So when you're setting up your books within your profit and loss, you have your benefits, which we sometimes say fringe benefits. You have your overheads, then you have your G&A. G&A takes in the owner, the music and entertainment, and all the other things that surrounds that. And how you calculate G&A expenses in terms of from a percentage standpoint, it's the sum of direct labor, the benefit rate, the overhead rate, times the G&A percentage. And that's how you come up with your total. I'll have you say, let's look at it with our project manager here of $173.74, which is this plus, you see the subtotal come all the way across. Then you have to lay a profit on that. It ranges from 3% to 8%, 10%. It all depends on what your profit is. For now, for this exercise here, we're going with 6%. So profit is just 10%, 6% of the total, of the subtotal of labor, benefit, overhead, and G&A. And then we come up with our fully burdened rate. We do this for all the labor categories that you're going to have where you're going to bid on this particular contract. I'm going to pause here now. The questions.
So the 184, it's everything that you have in blue on that line adds up to the 184.16. So wanted y'all to understand that. So it's all the items in blue. It's how you're getting to your fully burdened rate. So this is important because I've talked to customers, Graham, who when they come to us, they're like, hey, I just bid on this contract and as a subcontractor, and all I gave them was my direct labor costs. Was that okay?
No,
and I tell them yes and no. And the reason I tell them yes, because as a subcontractor, a lot of times, if you are the person who's going on contract, then it might be fine just to give them a direct labor cost, right? Because it's you. But if you are paying somebody else, meaning you've got a business analyst that you're putting on contract, and that business analyst tell you that they want $75, and you gave the prime contractor that you only want $75 for the business analyst, guess what? You're not making any money, right? And you still got to go give them benefits and all the other things that they need. And now you are losing money, right? So want you to understand that everybody, when you're in business, you're in business to make money, right? So want you to understand this concept, because so many people are coming to us and they're only giving the direct labor cost. They don't realize that they have to do benefits, overhead, general and administrative costs, and even include a profit. And so many people are losing money because they're not using this formula, Graham. So thank you so much for putting that. The other thing I would add here, folks, so know the 30%, the 16, 19, those are all ranges. You decide, and how you decide that, and I don't know if Graham talked about this already, but it's your accounting that you're already doing. So if you've got a QuickBooks set up, whatever software you're using, that's where all of these percentages are being developed. So for us, it's history that we have where we're creating where we're coming up with what our percentages are. It's the history, the accounting history that we use to come up with what those percentages are. But great. But
just a caveat on this with the percentages. Your percentage, your overhead, your G&A depends on whether you're on the government, within the government office, or within your office. For this one, I was going as if they were in our office to get that fully burdened rate. If it was in the government office, things that they're providing the seats for the contractors to put the butts in, that your G&A costs will be lower. Some things that just don't change. Your benefits and your profit. What changes is your overhead and your G&A slightly in terms of what, because now you don't have to pay the rent to put these folks in cubes or go or expand your rent just to put these three other people. If they're on the government side, well, this will be your fully burdened rate. The fully burdened rate is your ceiling maximum rate you're going to bill. But also, this is as if you're a prime contractor. If you're a prime contractor and you're not in a standard teaming agreement, I might probably try to term in here, standard teaming agreement, meaning that you will send your price to the prime contractors, and they kind of figure it out, and they go back and forth to see whatever those rates are.
All right, well, thank you for breaking this down. Now let's get to the part where everybody want to know. So they still need to figure out that total cost.
Okay.
How do we use the fully burden rate now for these 3 positions, 3 roles, to be able to come up with what the total would look like to respond for an RFQ?
Okay, so here we are. We have some templates. So with templates and so on, you already have the built-in math, and you just kind of roll the numbers as they go forward. So we can go to the next tab here. We call it the clean and the ceiling rates. A little small. So here, the 184. So within your base year, those gonna be your price. You got your 184, your 138, your 119. Now you're in business. Now you're putting on the clean rates here for FY23 starting that you have to be submitting that. So your ceiling rate here gonna be 184, 16, 138, 13, 119, 71 for the various categories. And as we put it here, and Varetta asked me a question. So when Varetta asked me to put this together, she said, well, do it for base years and option 1 and option 2 years. You always hear the word escalation rate. So your rate's gonna be different from one period to the next. So we started here, let's start with the project manager. His ceiling rate, or her ceiling rate was 184, 16 in the base year. In option 1 is 187. In option 2 is 191, 61. And we're going with an annual escalation rate of 2%. Remember, when you have prices, you're trying to be competitive. So it's range of doing that. Either escalate high or you discount with a higher rate. But here's where you're putting all your prices to flow within your template. So these are your ceiling rates. Any questions, Varetta?
No, that's good. So just letting you folks know, the base year is guaranteed in most contracts. So you know for a fact if you win the award, you're getting those base year. And what that means for you is whatever rates you have in your price proposal, the government's going to give it to you at that rate. Now, your escalation is options, meaning the government can decide if they will exercise that option or not. So you see where we have a 2%. You can have 2% in option year 1, and then you could do a 3% in option year 2, just because things, we got pandemics and stuff going on. So don't think that you have to keep it the same, is what I wanted you to know here. All right, so show us what the total prices will look like using these rates now.
So we go into the base year. With the base year, same thing. We got the same roles and what's not. We got 19, 20 hours. We got the ceiling rate of 184. This is the total. This total, if this was worker work 19, 20 hours, the total billing to the government or to whoever the customer is, gonna be $353 and 353,595.65, right? I throw in a little discount here just for argument's sake, right? Normally, when you presenting your contract, you already have this kicking technical proposal. You stick your toe in it, and it's the best thing. And now you want to sweeten the pot now, because somehow, most of the time, they might know where your price is at, but now you have to make an adjustment to your price. So you're kicking a discount. Sometimes you're going to high end because your ceiling rate, you know exactly what you're going to pay your contractors or your employees. So you have a buffer between you to give the government a discount. So to sweeten the pot, to with your kicking technical proposal, you give them a percentage here that lower the proposed labor rate here. That's in column J here. So now, rather than billing the government at 353, you're at 328. And you go across the board, depends on who the workers are. If you are the person doing the job, and sometimes, it depends on the contract. It might have some fixed price piece, but Varetta might have another seminar to show you how you can break out if you're doing a fixed price piece along with a time and material. But that might be another class for another webinar for another day. So in the base year, you extended cost can be total can be 796,473 in the base year. And it's sort of elementary cost, but as you escalate for your 2%, you got option year 2, you see the price change here, the discount still the same. And the option year 2, the price is changed, the discount here. So 828. So in the base year, your total here gonna be 796. In option year 1, it's gonna be 803,059 and 20 cents. And then in option year 2 is gonna be 820 or 672. And the question was read before I got to the next one to the summary.
So wanted everyone to know the discount, you decide how much discount you want. At the end of the day, you want your prices to be competitive, and just know that whatever price you've got, more than likely there's a vendor out there who's got a lower price than you. So you're not gonna know that. So you can help by keeping your prices the same, but by offering the government or your client, whoever you're doing this for, a discount. That makes them feel appreciated. And just like, if you go to Target or wherever you go to shop and you hear that, hey, this is 10% off or whatever, you feel like, hey, I want to pay that price because they're giving me a discount. It's the same thing for government or your clients. When you're giving them a discount, it makes them feel like you are appreciating them. And so feel free to offer discounts. We're not going to tell you what discounts to offer. You come up with that all by yourself. We do it on different things. If we know we've got folks in-house, like I'll give you in cases where I'm the one putting myself on contract, my discount might be 10 plus. I might do a 10 more than that. If I know I've got subcontractors on there, I'm going to keep it really tight because the subcontractors already gave me a price and I'm trying to, I already probably approved their prices and I want to keep it where it's low, where I don't have to offer more than what the subcontractors have been approved for. So those are the things. And then if it's our roles, then I know I can go however I want to on the discounts. I could go 5%, I can go more than that. And again, it depends on the prices that we started with. So again, discounts, you decide what you're gonna do for that. But just know that it takes time. You might do one price proposal, submit it. If you make it to final 3, you come back and you ask what was the problem, and they might say, oh, your prices were too high. Then you know for next time, that was my issue last time, let me fix that. And you can fix it with your discounts. But all right, move on. Yeah,
and one little thing, I'm very structuring something. Normally you get up there, you might be in the top 3, and you come back and say, hey, you hear this word Baffle, and Baffle is your best and final offer. I know you might have to add to the discount. There's a swing part, but you have already built in a buffer that you could still, you and your subcontractors could make something from this. And so your work don't go in vain, and you don't have, you're working for, you don't want to be working for the contract, you want to be working on the contract, but so you don't have to own the bid. So come to the nice part. When all is said and done, you want to know what number am I going to put on what the base year plus the 2 years going to be. And in column D here, it's 2,428,204.80, and that's all 3 years. Base year, base period, option period 1 and 2, and the total. So before discounts, it would have been 2.5 million, and after discount, it was 2.4 million. So the amount you're putting on here, it's a discounted amount, the total estimated cost for those 3 years, or the base year, which is you're going to get, and then the 2 option years if exercised. And just some everything come together. It's just show what the discounts is. Our discounts are, this is just average discounts on the total. And all these here are templates that's proprietary to V-PMC. So no question might come and say, how can I get these templates? But all these proprietary to V-PMC. But any questions? It's just all about everything. Start with your price buildup. What are you going to pay? You start here and you end here. Everything starts with building up your price. This is what I'm going to pay your employees. This is what I'm going to pay my 1099. So it's the same. Well, okay, I'm going to pay just this is the ceiling. I'm going to pay my employee $100 an hour because he or she's working on a contract. A contractor come in and say, right, okay, you're paying him well. That'll range that you're paying between 100 and 130, which is pretty much the benefits of last night because there's no other added costs associated with hiring a 1099 person other than the paperwork of submitting the 1096 and giving them a 1099 at the year. Yes.
Can you go back to the summary page, please?
Yes.
All right. So with this, wanted everyone to realize that this is the cost. So when you're doing your RFQ and they're asking you for that one price, so the one price is your grand total price. I've had customers come to me and they're like, hey, Varetta, I submitted an RFQ and they got all excited. And when we start talking about costs, they only submitted the base price. They forgot to submit the other 2, option 1 and option 2 prices. And they're like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. The government wants to know what is the total cost for you and your company to be able to do the work. Why? Because they have to allocate that in their budget. And so they want to know totally how much is this going to cost them? And that's why they're asking you for that total price, including the option years, if they ask you for option years. So if you only submit a base period price, when they ask for for you to submit a 3-year effort price, you just did not include 2 other years. And now you're going to be in the red for those 2 other years if you didn't include that price. So pricing is very essential to your response. You can have a great technical proposal, but if you messed up on pricing, you are in the red, and that's not a good place to be. And so you want to make sure that your pricing for your proposals has the right information. And so for the RFQ, what that price would be the 2,428,204.80. That's the price that you're going to put in to say, this is the total of how much it's going to cost us to be able to do this work for you, whether it's the clients, the government, or another entity. So wanted you guys to understand that you might see an RFQ and you're like, oh, this looks simple, but there are all these different intricate pieces, and everything starts with that pricing of how you're breaking down your prices to get to your fully burdened rate. Now, I want to, if we have any folks on the line who are not services-based, this is developed for services-based companies. So whether you're janitorial services, with janitorial services, you got to let them know what those roles are. They need a project manager. They need your cleaning staff, your cleaning crew. That's how you're breaking down those roles, is by who's doing the work. If you're providing training services, got a project manager, you might have a trainer, right? You might have a technical writer, right? That's still how you're breaking down those roles. So it doesn't matter in services what you are doing. If you're doing IT, your roles are system analyst, software developer. If you're doing cybersecurity, same. If you're doing data analyst. So it doesn't matter in terms of services. At the end of the day, you have to have roles. Who's going to do the work? And then come up with the cost. What is the price for each of those roles? Who's doing that work? Okay. And I think Graham did an excellent job of that. Thank you so much, Graham. This was exciting. Now we're going to turn it over to questions. And let me so Haley's going to take over the question section for us. And she's going to be able to ask some of the questions that you guys are submitting. Graham, if you can stop for a bit. I just need to do something quick. I might have you go back, but I'm just trying to. Haley, you on? Okay, Haley, hold on. Let me just check.
All right. Hey, everyone. So we have a few questions here. Don Johnson asked, what if you don't offer benefits? How do you calculate from there?
Say that again.
What if your company doesn't offer benefits? How would you do your calculation?
And this question is from whom?
Don Johnson.
Okay, Don, if your company does not offer benefits, you're saying pretty much that you're hiring everybody as contractors. So that's pretty much it's not going to be any benefits. If Don could type in just you do not have any W-2 employees, because benefits is also Social Security, Medicare, stuff like that. Those are benefits because it falls under the benefits category. So I'm going to say that to caveat it. So if your company do not have benefits, well, you just don't have any benefits. You're paying somebody $100 an hour, paying them $100 an hour. Hopefully, you're billing the client at $150 an hour, $130 an hour, so you can make a profit, so you can pay yourself. So I think Don, if you have anything to add to the question.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Haley, some questions.
Okay. All right. Next question.
All right. Regina asked, how do these wages compare to the government wages?
How are the wages? Most of these labor categories, especially when you're billing, when you proposing to the government, you're giving them the going rate that's in the industry at that particular time when you're submitting. Normally, some people might already have the prices already pre-submitted, and over a number of years, I mean, you're a contract holder with that particular agency, so they already know what your prices are. Or some of them is just cold that you're giving them whatever the industry prices are for different labor categories. Like, for example, V-PMC is a more holder, State of Maryland, DOD, Seaport. The prices them are already there for the next 7-8 years. So they know everybody is public knowledge, everybody know what the prices are. So when you're submitting a proposal, you're giving them that price, nothing more than what you already submitted. So with that, that's why we talk about discounts and what's not. But if you just submitting prices, you're giving them the industry rate. And a little research have to go into it in terms of salary.com to help out with that.
All right, thanks. Melissa B asked if the ceiling rate is the same as the labor rate.
Yes. Well, for now, your direct labor cost is the same as your ceiling. But yes, the same as your ceiling. Okay, for example, for the example we have you with $100. $100 will be your ceiling rate. That most for that project manager, you're not going to pay more than $100, but you can pay less. You can pay the individual doing the work less. You know how high you can go. So when you're negotiating with that person, you say, okay, $100 my rate. I'm gonna say I could pay $80 an hour. They might come back and say I want 85 or 90. You might say, you look at it, it's okay, I can do 90. But for the government, you're still sending in $100 because that is your ceiling rate, because you might have to come back for a discount and might work your way back down a little bit so you can make something on the contract.
All right, thanks. Melanie S. asked, if there is a contract max for the proposed contract period, no, hold on. If there's a contract max for the proposed contract period, when using this calculation, which is the first category you can reduce the percentage for to still be profitable, but come in under the contract max?
Okay, so you've seen that. So there's the government tell you they're gonna, whoever tell you can pay you $50,000 to do a job in whatever number of days. If you're paying somebody and you have benefits, you can't finagle on the benefits because that's what you have to pay them. If the person is just another 1099 person, okay, no, yeah, you don't have your max rate, you have your ceiling rate, but probably on your overheads and your G&A. You can probably cut that, depends on where the work is being done. If you're a person with a small office and you just do work at other people's buildings, if you're doing janitorial services or any other things that you don't have to have a big office, well, your G&A percentages would be much lower. I mean, you don't have to hire anybody to put inside an office.
All right. Melanie also asked, if you're providing subcontract services to a prime, is it recommended to follow this same model that you showed?
Yes, but just understand, if those are your prime rates versus the prime who you're going to be working with prime rates, it all depends. If you are prime and you're using your prime rates and you're using a contractor teaming agreement, Varetta could explain that some more. What's a contractor teaming agreement versus a standard teaming agreement? A contractor teaming agreement, I mean, if you're working with a prime, you can send in the same rates that you have. If you're also a contract holder with the same agency, so you can use your fully burdened rate along with the prime contractor fully burdened rate. But for the most part, if you're a subcontractor and you have a standard teaming agreement, you're gonna have to adjust your prices because the prime is the one who has to do all of the financial stuff and everything, putting people in office. You're just the sub, so you might have to adjust your rates. And that's why I think Rhoda mentioned when she's deploying all the subcontractors come in, they have to make a decision on the rate. So where there's a buffer for discounts or even come back for your best and final offer. So your rates as a subcontractor can be way different for rate if you work with a prime, but you have a contractor teaming agreement saying that you also have a contract with that particular agency. So basically, a rule of thumb that your subcontractor rates can always be much lower than your fully burdened rate for anything else.
All right. Boomy asked, the template that you provided is based on hourly rates. How do you calculate if the project manager, for example, wanted $120,000 per year as a salary?
If it's a salary, you're gonna be you divide it by 2080, and that's where you get the hourly rate for that individual.
Okay,
so
and
28,000 times 2080, because if there's a salary worker, you have to pay them for every single holiday. You have to pay them for vacation and all the other benefits that's associated with it. So it's 120,000 divided by 2080, and that's how you get that person hourly rate.
And just so
Okay.
you know, the 2080 is the max hours anyone can work in a year. So if you do your calculations, you'll get the 2080, which is that that max number of hours you can work in a full year.
Right, thank you guys. Susan asked, are you suggesting that we only hire independent contractors to do the work for our company?
1 second. One second. Okay, ask the question again.
So
Yeah.
if you want, I can answer it.
So are you suggesting that these companies only hire independent contractors to do the work?
Well, I'm gonna say something slightly funny. Okay, if you're just an independent contractor and you have these people working and the government decide to do some PPP again, well, them fellas can't get paid. They have to find the way out. But with that being said, depends on what jobs you're in and how often you get them. That you hire people to do the work. If you're on contract, I always suggest 1099. But if that's the program manager, that person has to be an employee. Whether you want to add to that?
Yeah, we are a project management company, so we try to use our project managers. We try to make sure if it's going to be a 3 or 5 year contract, we try to get them as a W-2 employee. Now, there are cases where we can't. Our program manager has to be a W-2 employee. Why? Because they're seeing the cost. They're seeing everything that we do to be able to maintain that contract. So I'm not giving a 1099 a program manager job. Now, I've seen that model where other companies have done that and they lost the contract, just letting you know. So based on what Graham is saying is you're gonna have some that will be 1099 and then you'll have some that will be W-2 employees. As the owner, you decide who becomes what. As the hiring manager, there are going to be times when they're telling you, the candidates are like, hey, I want to be a W-2 or I'm only accepting it if it's a 1099. You make the decision as the hiring manager on who you want to hire for those positions.
All right, thank you guys. Susan also asked, is 6% the lowest profit margin that you'd recommend?
Well, 6% is, well, for example, when we, for the FAA, we couldn't go higher than 6%. So, and many other agencies couldn't go higher than 6%. You could come below, but 6% seems to be the rule of thumb.
All right. I'm sorry about that. This question is from Anonymous. What if there is a specific delineated pricing from where the agency is asking for deliverable or milestone pricing? Do you recommend still using this model to support your pricing?
So the question again, he said,
Yeah.
Delineated. Ask the question again. Make sure I get it right.
What if there is a specific delineated pricing from where the agency is asking for a deliverable or milestone pricing? Do you still recommend using this model to back into the pricing?
Well, I know for some times past when we work with an oil company, it all depends on delivery of certain things. So at a company, and the job was to deliver gas and oil to various different spots. And we had to say what number of trucks we're going to use, what truck size, truck numbers, especially if you're working in the building or the construction or the oil business, is all going to be is on delivery or completion. If you're building a building for the government, it's going to be a built on completion, but the hourly rate is still the hourly rate. So when you already add up all the hours, man hours, that's going to be within the contract, plus the materials that's going to be used. It's going to be, okay, when the building is completed by 25%, you're going to get this dollar amount. but the man hours and always remain the same. So when you're putting your proposal together, you're going to say the construction manager, she's going to work 20 hours for this first year of the contract. And you have to meet certain milestones within the beginning of the year. So you can bill at 20%, 30%, and you're going to go accordingly to the contract and its deliverables. So sometimes there'll be a fixed price base built in based on how the contract is written. So, but the hourly rate, building up to get your price sheet to the hourly rate for the project manager, the construction manager, the journeyman, anybody associated with this, the hourly rate can still be the same, but the percentage of completion, the contract that was written, is just going to be different than how the government pays you. So you can bill on a certain percentage of completion.
Yeah, I would like to also help with answering that too. We have had similar type contracts, and so to fully answer that question, it's the same. Yes, would be my answer. Yes, when we're using a fixed priced model, and what that means is they're asking us for a certain deliverable, and they're also asking us for it to be delivered at a certain date. So with the fixed price ones, what we do with those is, let's say it has to be delivered by the 10th of the month. And when we deliver it is when we get paid. So those are deliverable based, and they're also milestone based. And so, yes, we use the same model because you're still gonna have to figure out if the program manager is doing that work, what is their price for them to be able to do the work. And then now you're multiplying that by the number of hours that they took to do that work. And that's how you're coming up with what will be the cost for them to deliver that deliverable. If it's, and I'll give an example, a monthly status report. We do that still, where the monthly status report, if it's gonna take us 20 hours to get that completed per month, and then who's doing the work? That's how we're coming up with the cost for that. So yes, we're still using the same model because you do need to know what the cost of the roles that are doing that work. And then you just need how much hours they need to be able to do that to come up with the total cost for that deliverable or for that milestone. But great question.
Awesome. Susan also asked, is there a maximum number of roles per project?
Yes. Normally when a project comes out, they put the number of bodies they're going to need. Sometimes they put key personnel of some people you need to have on the contract. I mean, you have to have the resumes, go through them and vet them, submit those within your proposal. But yes, depends on the job. You have many labor categories. You could be over up to 1,000. Could be. Depends on what the job is. We don't propose the number of bodies. They do. We just add our prices to it.
So it depends is my answer to that. There are times when, yes, the government gives us, this is the list. And these are all the bodies, the labor categories we want you to provide. And then there are some other ones where they just tell you, hey, it's going to be a fixed price. You come up with who you're suggesting to do the work. And in those cases, we have to propose the labor categories. So it depends on the government agency. And again, it depends on the type, whether it's a time and material or a fixed price contract.
All right, great work, guys. Miss Cazette, Mr. and Mrs. Cazette asked, what is MOA, the acronym MOA?
Really want to answer that one?
Master ordering agreement. It's similar to a contracting vehicle. They also use the same terminology for a blanket purchasing agreement, BPA. You might hear IDIQ, indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity. So those are all the same terminologies. They all mean the same thing. It's a contracting vehicle that allows you to do business with the government. It just means you have a contract in place that has been authorized, And now they're giving you the authority to be able to now work with that government agency.
All right. A lot of people have asked how you, in your example, came up with the rates or number of hours. So was this just an example of?
It's an example, and the 1920 is, well, now it's 1912 with the additional holiday, is the number of hours you can work for the government in any particular year. It's an example, but the numbers in terms of 1920 hours, those are real hours you can work on a contract. The $100 and what's not for project managers, what's not, those are just numbers that was included just for the sake of the example.
Right. A lot of people have
I mean-
also oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, and the 30%, the 90%, and 16%, and the 6%, those are just rates that, you know, we came up with from historical numbers, from just working with different people.
Right. And Janelle also asked, just for clarification, with this, are you technically getting paid twice by the overhead and by the profit?
No, not really. The overhead is money you're going to spend. You might not see it. You might have to sweat equity up there, something that you might pay personally. Depends on how big your business is. But those are true numbers. As your business grows, those numbers grow. You don't want to wait until. So when you're putting together a budget, say, okay, this is what all my overheads are going to be for the year. This is what all my G&A is going to be for the year. This is, you know, your benefits and so on. That's a maximum. It could be 23, it could be 30%, somewhere between. But those are numbers you have to put in there. If you don't, just say, if you don't pay the person $100, okay, you just make more. You pay them $100, well, you make where your profits are going to be. Or maybe you don't have such a big office, but it all depends. But you don't want to underbid or have your price smaller than what your expenses to be, because stuff do come up. You know, you have to pay, you got to get an insurance for, like, you know, $2 million, $10 million for general liability insurance and all this other stuff that you have to get. You might have to pay an accountant. You might have to pay your taxes to help you prepare your taxes. Now you have your personal taxes. Now you have your business taxes. Now you have your bookkeeping. And then you might have to get an office in a different location. But all those things you have to factor within your price in the first year. And those things are escalated over a period of time. So I would say, yes, make your price as high as possible, because there's always room in it for discounts.
Great. And I think we have time for one more question from Melanie Stewart. She asked, do you adjust your rates on the market rate in state that you're responding to the work? For example, higher rates in California versus state like Mississippi.
Yeah. But if you are more wholer someplace else, your price has already been determined. If somebody just asks you for IDIQ and what's that, you can put whatever price you want just to send it in based on where you are. Yeah, I know in California how expensive it is. New York a little different. DC is cheaper in Florida in the South. So this all depends. That's why you try to maximize your prices. Depends on where the person is going to be. If somebody going to be working in, let's say for the FAA, somebody working in Oklahoma where the cost of living is much lower than in New York, you can give a bigger discount. You don't have to pay the individual as much. So it just all depends. That's why the question that was asked before about percentages and stuff like that, the higher you are, the better position. You don't want to be over a contract award and said, about to sign this, but I'm not going to make any money. You don't want to be there, right? So, yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Graham. And just so you know, we do have an offer called V-GovCon CEO Accounting Package. And with this, we're offering this for $399. And what that is, it's an initial payment of $399. And for 12 months, you'll be able to work with us, help with your accounting, help with getting those financial reports, your profit and loss, your balance sheet. Also help, and those are documents, if you're doing government contracting, they're going to be asking for some of these documents. And then if you're ready where you want to help work with us to be able to do pricing of your services, whether it's pricing for commercial services or pricing for government services or products that you have, that's where the price proposal sessions can come into play. So again, we'll start with an initial payment of $399, and that offer ends on September 2nd. What we do with that is we'll meet with you for an initial one-on-one accounting strategy session. We'll consult with you, understand what your accounting needs are. After that, if it looks feasible for us to work with you, if it looks like it's stuff you really need help with, we go from there, and you can do a $399 for the next 11 months, or you could do a one-time payment of $3,990, and that will cover for the next 11 months. So again, start off with $399, and this expires on September 2nd. And the total value of this whole package for a year is $19,000. So we've totally discounted this for you. All the way down to $3,990 plus $399. That's all we're offering for this. So again, if you're interested in working with us and being able to have Graham be your accountant and walk you through some of the processes of what you need to become compliant in government contracting for accounting, he'll be able to work with you. My team will be able to work with you. We'll provide different parts of the services and be able to work with you from there. You'll also get an offer link. Now, I don't know if Haley can send this out, but in about 30 minutes after this session, you'll get the email that allows you to sign up for this also. So that's how you can sign up for this. And the next thing on here is just letting everyone know that we do have a change in our V-GovCon Live in September. Because I'm traveling to Phoenix the last week, we've moved our V-GovCon Live to the 3rd Tuesday instead of the 4th Tuesday in September. So we'll be meeting on September 20th next month, and we're planning to have a guest speaker. And we'll provide more information through email to you. But thank you so much, everyone. And thank you, Graham, for this awesome webinar tonight, for allowing our audience to be able to understand how to create those price proposals, what to include in their pricing, and just to see a great example of how to do that. We hope that your questions were answered tonight. And if you have any other questions, feel free to send to us at V-GovCon at V-PMC.com, or just feel free, and it's at the bottom of this, it's V-GovCon-events at V-PMC.com. So again, thank you all for everything, and I hope you were able to get a lot of your questions answered. And feel free to send us more questions if you have them. Thank you all, and enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.